Okay, so yeah, this is basically my Omega Turbo Vylon deck profile, and this deck is fairly consistent, I guess, because all you need is one card Hulky Fibrex, which is any of these zombies, and one of these equip spells or the Vylon element. The only real bricks in this deck are Cold Wing and the Vylon Sphere. If you draw a Cold Wing or like a Vylon Sphere, you can special summon the Omega. But if you only draw one of these three cards, it doesn't matter because you can still like put it back on top of the deck with the Plague Spreader zombie and just continue the combo anyway. And that's the reason why the deck is fairly consistent, because you have 9 ways to make one card Hulky Fibrexes. And I also like the zombie engine for that because it doesn't require you to play additional bricks. You could technically also play stuff like the Deep Sea Diva, or you could play Despot 03 to special summon more Despot 01s. But I figured that playing the zombies is pretty beneficial, especially because like the Plague Spreader zombie puts the bricks, which you don't play that many of, to be fair. But still, if you draw them and you couldn't put them back on top of the deck, then you'd basically lose the game. If you draw the Cold Wing and you wouldn't be able to put it back on top of the deck with the Plague Spreader zombie, you can basically almost like surrender, because the only synchro monster you'd be able to realistically make would be like F8 on Dragster Pass, which is pretty bad, to be honest. For the combo, as I mentioned, one of the zombies and one of like these equip spells, or like the Rod of Silence Chaos would also work if you draw a Rod of Chaos and one of these one card Hulky Fibrexes, you could still make the combo. The only Vylon card that wouldn't help you would be the Matter and the Polytype. The Matter is actually not that important, you could probably cut it, but I still like to play it because you can recycle your cards and then pop a card on the field and it's still searchable. But that would be like the number 1 card to cut. The Vylon Polytype is actually pretty important, because pretty much at the end of the combo you are able to special summon one Vylon Sphere that is equipped to the Vylon Omega with the Vylon Polytype and make a borrowed Savage Dragon, which is important to protect your board from cards like Evenly Matched, Lightning Storm, Twin Twister, because if you don't make the borrowed Savage Dragon, your only negate would be Vylon Omega and maybe Abyss Dweller if you opt to make Abyss Dweller. Like your entire board would be Abyss Dweller Omega. And if you're pulling Twin Twisters or Lightning Storms your board, the only card that remains on the field is the Abyss Dweller or an Omega that doesn't have any materials left, or like not many materials left. Or if they evenly match you, your board is also broken, or the Mystic Mine would also like basically break your entire deck. You would have no protection from spells and traps. That's what I'm trying to say. That's why you're making the borrowed Savage Dragon, because it's an additional Omni Negate that is able to protect the board. But the biggest problem with the deck is like that it loses to one hand trap instantly. You have 6 flag spots in the main deck that are the Ash Blossom, Joy Spring and the Infinite Permanence. You could swap for any other cards, or the Vylon Matter, that's like 7 flag spots that are not necessary to the strategy. Called by the Grave and Magical Midbreaker Field are here to protect you from hand traps. The Magical Midbreaker Field protects you from Infinite Impermanence and Effect Whaler. And yeah, the Called by the Grave protects you from most other hand traps, like from Ash, Whaler, Ghost Spell. Ghost Ogre would also instantly... No, Ghost Ogre... Yeah, Ghost Ogre would probably still kill the deck if you don't chain block correctly the Vylon element. So yeah, you only need one Vylon element because you're searching so many equip spells anyway that you can burn one of the equip spells that you search for the Vylon element. Because like the thing is, you already like the combo needs one equip spell to start anyway. And you draw 2 additional equip spells, which would be the Rod of Chaos and an additional Vylon equip spell, or like 2 additional Vylon equip spells if you already do the Chaos. And you're burning one of them for the element if you didn't draw it, and later on in the combo you're going to revive with Dugaris, the Power Tool Dragon, and burn another equip spell, search another equip spell, burn that equip spell for the Polytype. That's the reason why the combo works so well. And I'm going to show you how it actually works if you don't play against hand traps, which I most likely won't because I'm playing Dueling Nexus and people on there don't play hand traps. Oh yeah, so I could like now show how this deck would work if you have a Plague Spreader Zombie in hand. Just make a Mirage like this and put this on top of the deck. Now you can again make a Hulky Firebreaks. And that's the only difference if you wouldn't be able to get into the Unizombie first. Make a bunch of tokens again. Reviving the Despot 01. Getting into the Power Tool Dragon. We already have the Rod of Chaos. Special summon the Cold Wing from deck. And reviving the Despot 01 again. And we make our second Power Tool Dragon once more for the third time now. And grab another equip spell. And now we just make Dracossack again and special summon a monster. Special summon the tokens, which then again triggers the Despot 01. And now we make the Shooting Razor Dragon. And we dump the Plague Spreader Zombie. And we make the Epsilon. Now, the thing is, if we wouldn't have Vylon Element, we could now like search Vylon Element this way because we already searched 2 equip spells. We could now just like equip one of the equip spells onto the Epsilon, get the Vylon Element, and yeah. Now we're just going to grab another Vylon segment and special summon the Prism. Okay. Now we're going to get this and summon another Prism. Now we gotta get a Dugaris. The Dugaris revives the Power Tool Dragon. And this Power Tool Dragon would get us like an equip spell that would be able to get us to the last Vylon card that we would still need. Now we're going to equip this with that. Trigger both of these. Get the Vylon Polo type. Special summon a Vylon Sphere. Once more. We get the Vylon Material. Could get the Vylon component, but that doesn't matter. Vylon Sphere. Now we special summon the Omega. Because remember, the thing about the segment is we can't use the tuners that we special summon from the deck of a Vylon element to make non-Vylon tuners. And equip this and that, and yeah, now everything's equipped. Now we make just another, we make this guy. Now we use the Polytype to special summon one sphere. And the reason why we make the sphere is to make Boral Savage Dragon, which we should have summoned in defense position, to be fair, but like I just forgot right now to special summon it in defense. We should special summon in defense, definitely. The only card that shouldn't be special summoned in defense is the Vylon Omega, because the Vylon Omega has like low defense and really high attack. And yeah. we could now technically equip the Rod of Chaos and make more summons. That's like, we couldn't like make technically a rank 3 now, or a second rank 4. No, we couldn't make a second rank 4, we couldn't like make a rank 3. But that's like up to you. You should probably start to refigure these combos all yourself. And now we pass. Now our board still loses to like 2 spells and traps that are board wipes. And our opponent is playing a Mystic Mine deck, which is like super annoying. And we just have to hope that they didn't draw their second Mystic Mine or a Terraforming. Card E, yeah, sure. We negate that because who cares? Use the Vylon segment to get a violent meta, and our opponent surrenders because we basically won the game anyway.